What's up, everybody? I'm Metal Nick,
I'm Jeff Grindstoffer.
and welcome to episode number 71 of Vinyl Bang. Today's special guest you may recognize from such bands as Agoraphobic Nosebleed, Drugs of Faith, Enemy Soil, and if you're around some shows in Baltimore, Maryland, Virginia area, Disposable Underground Zine. Mr. Richard Johnson, the Grindfather himself, ladies and
The
gentlemen.
fucking Grindfather on Vinyl Bang, huh?
Yeah.
Royalty. Royalty in our midst. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's an honor, buddy. I don't know if I've ever shared this story on the show before. The first time I met you was at the Magruder Grindhouse. You were playing bass for Triac at the time. You were there with Blake and oh damn. Anyways, that was an interesting day because I had learned that you were an agoraphobic nosebleed, and I think I punished you with some questions that day. But you were very nice about it, and I think a few months later it was Scott's turn to get punished. But man, it's an honor. You've always been such a nice person to me at the shows, and every time I talk to you, it's a pleasure. So the other day you reached out to me and said you have some records, and I was like, "Fucking hey, Jeff, let's get this guy on our show."
Yeah, dude. As soon as you said Richard wanted to be on, I'm like, when? You tell me when I have to set aside time for this because this is amazing.
So, do you guys usually reach out to people, or has anyone pitched you like I have?
Sometimes, but most of the time we will email somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually us hitting up people saying, hey, you want to do a show with us? And they were like, sure, whatever. But very, very, very seldomly has somebody been like, hey, can I be on your show? And
Right.
Richard, honestly, it's an honor. I'm glad we were able to make this happen. So.
Me too. Me too.
Oh yeah, man. Well, yeah, let's get started. Let's see what you brought to the show today.
Okay. First off, it's a flexi by Billy and the Boingers. Does that ring a bell?
No.
No.
It's Berkeley Breathitt's comic strip. Bloom County. Does that ring a bell?
No.
Opus the Penguin, Bill the Cat? No?
Uh-huh.
Well, anyway, when there'd be a long-standing comic strip and they would collect a bunch of them into books? One of the books came with a flexi, and this is it. And that was because there was this long story arc where one of the guys in Bloom County wanted to start a heavy metal band just so he could make money.
Right.
And there's all these jokes about the excesses and ridiculousness of heavy metal throughout the thing. And he got a couple of bands to record songs for songs that he wrote. And this is it. You want to talk about obscure? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many books got sold with this flexi in it. But hey, you guys never heard of it, so maybe it is cult. So, I grabbed a bunch of records that are interesting, both 7 inches and LPs, and I grabbed most of the ones that are flexis because flexis are fun to talk about.
Sure.
Speaking of local, we've got the Clancy 6. This is an old 7-inch of theirs, and this one's interesting because you've got the vinyl here. And the way the label is, it fits into the sleeve like this. You see that?
Huh. Yeah, that is
That's
unique.
cool.
I've never seen anything like that.
Neither have
I.
And speaking of Blake, Daybreak 7-inch.
Fuck
Yes.
yeah.
And this was on, of course, Reptilian Records, and Reptilian had a series that was of picture deck 7-inches that was done by, the name of the guy. Oh man, it's been a while since I played this. You hear that crackling while I'm trying to pull this 7-inch out?
Yeah. Yep.
Can you help me out here? Who's the artist? I'm looking at the sleeve here.
Oh, I have no idea. I bought that strictly because of Blake.
I'm sorry?
I bought it strictly because of Blake.
Sure, Carlos Batts. So every time they would put out one of these 7 inches, Carlos would do a piece of artwork for at least one side of it.
Okay, so like the Mastodon one, I think there's artwork on one side.
Exactly. I've got that one too. I'm going to jump straight to that one.
Oh, really?
Same thing here. It's got one of these half sleeves here,
Yeah.
but and this time Carlos did art on both sides. I don't know how many of these Chris X did, but he also did a Swarm of the Lotus. There's another
Yeah,
one.
I have that one. Yeah, I love that. That's
And
Embers or something. I can't remember the songs on there. That's
Torrential, Ichabod, and Withered Am I.
Itchabod. Ichabod's the one I love. That's a fucking
And
brutal song.
so these two are kind of have a theme because they've got the sleeve, and they didn't follow that on the Daybreak. This one's kind of cold. Jesus Crust. I'm nailed right in.
I've
You know,
never heard of this. What the fuck? Hold on. Jeff, have you heard of this band before?
No, and this is exactly what I was expecting the Grindfather to bring. This is what I wanted to see. So tell me about this band. Who is this? Who is Jesus
I
Christ?
mean,
Where do they come from?
it's a 7 inch. There's 17 songs on it, limited to 2,000 copies. So he did 2,000 of these. It's on Fudgeworthy Records.
What a name. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Nice.
So here's an Unholy Grave flexi.
Oh, cool.
And I took a bunch of pictures at the show when we played with them, and they old school cut up all the prints and made a layout and put the picture disc together.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty old school. I like that. Can't go wrong with the Electro Hippies Napalm Death split 7 inch.
Electro hippies.
That's Jeff from Carcass and the Electro Hippies. This is pre-Carcass.
Oh wow.
I mean, I think that he was an Electro Hippies before Carcass. Maybe I've got that wrong. But the thing about this 7 inch is Napalm Death did You Suffer, and Electro Hippies did Mega Armageddon Death Part 3. So this is the shortest, this could be the shortest 7 inch ever recorded.
Wow. I've never heard of electro hippies. That's new to me. I mean, I kind of figured that there would be napalm death splits that I was unaware of. Somewhere in the wild. As many for as long as they've been doing it or whatever. But
Sure.
electro hippies with Jeff Walker, like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Wow.
Seriously.
Very cool.
I got this because there's a few bands I'm a completist with, Autopsy being one. I try to get all the Napalm Death I can get my hands on. So when they did the Apex Predator record, they did this shaped record. And, it came with this printed insert, which is nice. Hand numbered. That's nice too.
Wow. Okay.
This came out on Century Media and Church of Vinyl. And I've got some more flexies here. I know some people don't like flexies because they would say that the quality isn't good, but it's cool to have in the collection. Defecation, first album on Nuclear Blast.
I'm familiar with this band, but okay, awesome.
Before I get to the big one, Accept, Restless and Wild.
Did you just see them a couple weeks ago at M3?
No, you know what I did was I went on the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise and
Cool.
saw Dirk Schneider. So Dirk Schneider did, one of the sets was all Accept, and that was awesome.
That is awesome.
So this is the type of thing where they, you know, I don't actually have a vinyl copy of the normal record, but I guess it looks like they slapped the back cover on here. You know, it's got the songs. You know,
Mm.
and then here is speaking of Carcass, Symphonies of Sickness,
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Oh
and
wow.
I love the back because, you know, here's the drummer being nasty, and here's Jeff Walker being nasty, and then when you swing around the Bill Steer, he's talking on the phone, and I think that's great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typical Bill Steer. That guy, he's silly.
Yeah. Uh, so, I've kind of been an on and off Smashing Pumpkins fan. I haven't kept up with everything, but I really like some of their records in the middle. So I got the Melancholy, gatefold record. And
Okay.
this might be the only record I've got that's machine numbered instead of hand numbered.
Huh.
And I wasn't familiar with that when I got it, and I'm still not. And this apparently is a import. I must have bought this at Tower Records, so maybe I got it in the import section. I'm not sure. But this thing's cool. It's got the. I mean, I guess it's. I'm assuming it's the same thing as a CD. It's got the booklet, but it's a nice big booklet.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
and it's numbered on the front. Like you don't see that very often either.
right, right.
That's huh.
Yeah, they got this. Yeah, I guess it's evenly placed space here for the
Sure. Sure.
number. This is number 11468 out of how many? I don't know.
Hmm. That's an awesome album. I never pegged you as a Pumpkins fan, but that's
Yeah.
really cool. I love that album. I saw the Pumpkins one time in my life, and it was on that tour, and I
No
will
kidding.
never see them again, and I will die happy knowing that. Just because
Yeah.
I don't I that ship has sailed for me, but that album incredible.
Yeah. And did you get the Aeroplane Flies High set? We're,
No.
we're getting into CDs now, so maybe I should stop talking about it. But what they did is they for all of the singles, they did a CD single. You know,
Huh.
so each CD had like 4 or 5 extra songs on it. Like for example, Zero was one of the.
Hmm.
They did a video for that. You get the Zero CD, and it's got 4 or 5 extra songs on it that are non LP songs,
Oh
covers,
wow.
extra songs, and so they did five. I don't remember how many of these, and they put them all in this box.
Hmm.
And you put the CDs in the box, and you close the box, and it says Smashing Pumpkins on it and all that. Yeah.
Hmm. I
So
that I may have known about it at the time, but I've long since forgot about it. And but that's rad. I guess I should look into that just to get some more pumpkins from that era because
yeah,
that's a good era of the pumpkins for sure.
yeah, the aeroplane flies high. And
Cool.
I've got a couple of old school records here that I'm pulling out because I think the packaging is really cool. Like here's Dr. Zhivago. I don't know how well this movie is known for its soundtrack, but this is one of those old records where they put the booklet, as part of the package. This booklet here is attached to the gatefold. You know,
Huh.
and it's got a nice layout. They talk about the movie, and then it's got the cast in here. So that's kind of neat. It's actually only one record, even though it's a gatefold. And I don't know if you guys have seen Doctor Zhivago, but you must have seen The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh,
When you
absolutely.
when
Oh
you
yeah.
look at the when you look at the LP of this, and you can see how long I've had this. How long this has been in the family. But they did the same thing here. This one actually is a double album, and again, the booklet is built into the record. They talk about all the characters, and what they did in this case is they pick out, they have stills from different scenes in the movie, and then they talk about what's going on in that scene. You know,
Oh wow.
and this is and the art, the writing is really neat. Like this. Here's two things going on in here. You know, they go into the the asteroid belt, and then there's this moment where you think they're going to have an intimate moment between Leia and Han, right? And it says, the Falcon dives into a moonlight crater, and for a moment it appears that they are safe. All of a sudden, shock waves rock the dark cave, sending Leia into Han's arms. Totally confused by her feelings, she withdraws and hurries from the cabin.
Wow. That's
Nobody writes like that anymore, right?
right. Right.
Great.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then finally, I've got a couple of box sets. So back in the 80s, I went to, was it Waxy Maxie's in Sterling, Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. And I might have borrowed some money from my parents. I don't remember, and got a lift and got this. So this has got Welcome to Hell, Black Metal, At War with Satan, and the American Assault picture disc. And they had this series of assaults, American Assault, French Assault. I'm not sure how many countries they assaulted. You open the box, here's Venom, and then they've got this cutaway so you can easily grab the records. Oh, Ed Repka. And so, the oh, I got to fix this. I got to put some tape on this. The jacket, the inner jacket just has a version of the artwork for each record. Right? There's Black Metal, although it doesn't say Black Metal on it. And then Welcome to Hell. And then here is the American Assault EP. And it just has the same image on both sides, which I guess you would say is a little cheap. So you have to look at the book, the box, to see that this has got Rip Ride, Busting Out, Dead of the Night on side A, and side B is all live. Seven Gates of Hell, Countess Bathory, and Welcome to Hell. Not bad.
Is it where were these the live shows recorded?
Doesn't say.
Because there's the Beastie Boys sample a small live clip of Cronus.
Yeah, where he's wild.
Yeah. So I was curious as soon as you started talking about the live assault. I was like, oh, I wonder if it's from that.
Right. Oh, look at that. Is this another example of machine numbering over here? I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, it looks like it.
It says here it's on Combat and Important distributors. Yeah, so, old Venom, can't beat it with a stick.
Oh yeah.
So this
Very
last
cool.
one, Matt Scott from Goetia was over here one time promptly so we could talk about Dune. And he asked me what the crown jewel is of the collection. And I probably pulled this out and said, this is it.
Oh, that's...
So I think I bought this when Enemy Soil played this death metal festival in Montreal, and Brutal Truth played. They must have had this. This is what I'm thinking. And so it's got it's got this, I don't know, what is this, the size of a 10-inch insert with the info.
Like that.
And then it's got the whole record on different sized vinyl.
Yeah. Jeff, who broke this out on our show?
Champ. I believe it was Champ Morgan that had this. But
Yeah.
We've already talked about this on the show.
No, it's
Okay.
cool.
No, because seeing it, like it's just so awesome the way
As
they
soon as
put
you
it together and the way it's all different sizes and everything is just
Yeah, exactly. And
I
so
love
God,
I
that's
that.
awesome.
did message Champ about this, saying, "Hey, we've got the same record."
I believe he will be at Maryland Death Fest.
He will
Yeah.
be. Yeah, so we'll have to bombard him and say, "Hey, you and
I was
Grindfather are cool."
right. I thought maybe this had a bonus track on it, but maybe it doesn't.
That's still
Can't
a
remember.
really cool box set. I love the idea, the packaging, and then just,
Absolutely.
that's a very unique style of like, here's our record in different form, different size
Oh,
vinyl.
it says here exclusive bonus tracks unavailable elsewhere. BTITB. Oh, Dethroned Emperor cover. Painted Clowns. Wish you were here, now go away. Okay. So the way you guys might have talked about this already, but the way that the track listing is broken out, it goes, this is the 5-inch, this is the 6-inch, this is the 7-inch. Yeah. Well, I love this record. I've had the opportunity to express to some of the guys in the band that I love this record. I think it's their best one. It might get criticized. I think John Chang made fun of you know made fun of them by having a no. It wasn't John Chang. It was what am I thinking of? Seth Putnam
Yeah.
named one of his songs.
So,
Bench pressing the effects on Kevin Sharp's vocals,
Mm-hmm.
and that must have been from this record. But and it might be criticized for being like a studio album, and that's fine. But I think it was way ahead of its time and doesn't get the respect that it deserves.
Oh, it absolutely is underrated. It does not get the attention it deserves for sure.
Yeah. So
fuck
there
yeah.
you go.
Well, thank you, Richard. That was awesome. There was definitely some
Wow.
gems in there. I was stoked to see that Storm of the Lotus. I've been meaning to talk about my copy on the show because rest in peace, Pete. But Storm
Yeah.
of the Lotus was an absolute awesome band from Baltimore. Same with Daybreak, rest in peace, Blake. Daybreak was a very well, they were a hardcore band, but they were before my time at least. But they were awesome. Like anything Blake was a part of, I was a big fan of, and we also like Tony from Celebrated Summer. He was a part of that band. So he was a singer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
He's right. Right there.
yeah, that
You
young
might
ass
you
dude.
might cringe if someone was directing everyone's attention to this picture because it's so old. I mean, but look at that hair on Blake.
Yeah.
So,
No,
right?
I love those old pictures of Blake like that when he was younger. Look at that fucking full head of hair on that guy.
Yeah.
And I guess
Yeah.
what a Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, man, that's definitely my takeaway from this episode. Aside from the airplane flies high, I looked up on Spotify and 6.5 hours of Smashing Pumpkins I've never heard before. So guess what I'm going to be listening to on my drive to Baltimore, Richard? Thank
Oh,
you, because
okay.
I never even had any inclination to even look into this thing. But there are so many demos and songs and stuff that I've never heard. There's a lot of live shit on here that I'm probably just gonna skip over because I'm not a big fan of live audio to begin with. But man, there's a lot of songs on here that I've never even heard of. So
Well,
that's my takeaway from this. Jesus Christ and the aeroplane flies high. So
and here's the insert. It's
that
kind
is
of got
awesome.
it's kind of got Mentors vibes a little bit, Saint John the Rapist guitars, you know,
Hmm.
um, mixed by Jehovah Hitler, you know,
I got you.
that kind of
There's
shit.
that.
What year is this? I'm looking for something to indicate what year it was. I don't know if this thing is on Discogs. I haven't tried to look it up.
I'm
I
on it
don't.
right
I'm
now.
not. I'm not exactly. I'm not. Just because you guys got such a big kick out of this, it seems though. It seems all the lyrics are just taken straight out of the Bible.
Wow. This was released in '91.
Oh, you found it. Okay. See,
It's
look,
on Discogs. Yeah.
utterly destroyed. He that sacrificeth unto any god save unto the Lord only, he shall be utterly destroyed. That's a song.
Wow. Fun for the whole family. That's that's awesome. And there's a couple for sale here in the States. I might
Oh yeah.
look into this because, why not? Why? And there are several releases, or three releases from this band. They have a Blasphemy EP and The Last Temptation of Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm gonna look into this band. This sounds fun. So, and
I
like I
got
said,
some.
Richard, I expected something along these lines from you, and that's you delivered
Okay.
in spades.
Okay.
Very good, very good. So,
I think the Napalm Death Electro Hippies split 7 inches more of my brand.
absolutely. And if there was something I learned today, was that Jeff Walker was in a band called Electro Hippies.
Hippies, right? Now
So,
let's see if I can remember the name of this band. Since you guys aren't familiar with Bloom County, what was that band? Oh, Monkey Pup. Okay, so you heard of Monkey Pup? He, who was the first band? This is referring to that Flexi, the thing that I
Billy and
started
the
with.
Boinkers.
Billy and the Boingers. The first band was the Harry Pitt band. They did a song. They recorded the song "I'm a Boinger," and then Mucky Pup recorded the song called "You Stink But I Love You." And so I went to the 930 Club, back in the 90s, and Mucky Pup played, and they played this song. They played "You Stink But I Love You," and I remember thinking, this is the most obscure thing I've ever seen. you know?
huh? The good old days. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, Richard, thank you so much for taking the time to be on our show. And
Thanks for having me. This is a pleasure.
yeah, stick around. We end here. We'll chat for a bit. But thank you,
Okay.
everybody, for watching. Jeff, got anything to add before we close out this week?
No, short and sweet. Just like a short
Like a
episode.
Just
like a
like
Get
fine
in, kick ass, and get out.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Awesome episode. Thank you so much, Richard. Thank you. I'll see you at Maryland Death Fest. Excited.
Oh yeah, I'll see you there. So this episode was short by your guys' standards.
Generally, yeah. But it's all good.
They're usually about an hour. I mean, this is
Oh.
aside from the Dave Whitty episode, which was pretty short too, which is expected. We want the pioneers of grind to be short episodes. Get in, hammer it out.
Right.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, we prefer like a 4-second episode, but you guys went too long, so
4x.
Right.
to be true grind.
Everybody. Yeah. Hey, everybody, this is Richard. See you later. Episode's over. See you next week. But yeah, thank you again for this. This was fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
All right. See you guys.
Final thing